going to talk about the hidden part of biblical cosmology. Something that nobody seems to acknowledge, that's seeing the enclosed cosmology of the recent years. We're understanding a new kind of way to look at this creation, this place where we live. Well, there is a hidden part. People that draw out like diagrams of what they think the Bible describes, as far as the shape of the earth and what it looks like. Not like you could ever see it, but a map or a model that people draw. There's a picture of one in some Bible I've seen, like an older Bible. I don't know where or which one, but it has a dome over it, you know, a firmament, and God is in the heavens above the firmament, and there's waters above the firmament, and then there's the earth where we live, and the things that happen on the earth. And then everybody that draws those things out, they draw Sheol as being like underneath the earth, kind of like where they also draw the pillars of the earth, or the pillars of heaven. See, that's an error too. The pillars of the earth is literally the air, and I didn't make that up. That was Enoch and Uriel that taught me that, and you can read about it in Enoch chapter 18, where he is shown the treasuries of the winds. And the first thing he says is that God furnished the entire creation and the firm foundation with the four winds. So those maps drawn out, that's one thing, that the pillars of the earth are not underneath the earth. The pillars of the earth are the atmosphere, or the winds, the air. And those are also the pillars of the heaven. And in Enoch 18 it says they bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. Now the hidden part though of biblical cosmology, and I actually want to talk about the word cosmology. That's not the right word. We shouldn't be using that word, because that word is like, I think it's like the study of the universe or the cosmos. And I'm here to tell you that is just the study of a man's idea of what the sky is. It's the study of man's idea. So we could I'll call it biblical creation, because to me it was obviously created, and it's also taking place because of a higher power, and it was created by a higher power. But what is the hidden part that I keep avoiding to say? In the Bible, we're gonna go over it just off the top of my head. In the first few verses of the Bible explain pretty clearly this hidden part, the part that nobody ever talks about, the part that nobody actually knows is there or something. It seems that people they go to La La Land when I bring this up. Okay, there's a word used, and it's deep, the deep, and what that is, that word means deep, sea, abyss. So the deep is an abyss, and it's waters, it's dark waters, and you can refer to Psalm 18 for that, 18 verse 11. dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. Now, this place, this hidden part of creation is actually the absence of light. And it's upon the face of that abyss. Whatever that means, I don't know exactly. But it's upon the face of it. So, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, right? And the earth was without form and void. So the earth wasn't formed yet. And what's the next word? Darkness was upon the face of the deep. So there's an abyss that has darkness on top of it, upon the face of it. And it's a sea. It's a deep sea of dark waters. And it's literally something that... Sorry. It's literally something that exists. And it is when there's no light, that's when darkness is a thing. There is really no such thing as darkness if there's a light lighting up that darkness. Now there's a like a figurative word, I guess, darkness, like meaning evil or what's the other word for it? I can't think of it. Obscurity. Darkness that way. But I'm talking about in creation. I'm talking about part of this world we live in, and the one above it has a place of darkness. And in this world we were raised, and most of this world believes that that place of darkness is actually a place to explore. A universe, like a space, and we call it space. Well, there's some truth to that it is a space, but it's not a space anything like the earth. There's no air there. There's no four winds of the earth. There's what Enoch says, and this is important to realize, what Enoch says in chapter 18 when he was being shown the treasuries of the winds. He said that the winds on the earth, they carry the clouds, and then the winds of heaven turn and carry the sun, moon, and stars to their setting. So I gotta remove lanes. So there's the sun, moon, and stars get carried in a circle. This is very important. The sun, moon, and stars are carried in a circle by the winds of heaven. Okay? And what are those winds of heaven? They're dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. It's darkness upon the face of the deep. That's not part of the earth. It has nothing to do with air or anything like that. And that's what they're calling space. And we know that because now this is something that I don't quite understand, but it kind of has to be a certain way. In Genesis, on the fourth day, God created the sun, the moon, and the stars, and it says that He created them to give light upon the earth, and He created them for times, seasons, days, and years, I think it says. Time, season, days, and years. And what stands out to me is that when God created the firmament of the heaven on the second day, when He created the firmament, I'm not saying that I know what the firmament is or what it's like physically or what. I'm not saying that. But I do know one thing about the firmament is that if God hadn't placed the sun, moon, and stars in the firmament to give light upon the earth, it would be darkness. It would be complete darkness. There would be no light here on earth or in the sky. It would be complete darkness. If God didn't create light on the right away when he said, let there be light, and there was light, that's a mysterious light right there. Because we know that the sun, moon, and stars were created to give light upon the earth, but they were created 3 days after he created light. So what I'm saying is the firmament is a place of darkness. It has to be. That's why he put the sun, moon, and stars there to give light upon the earth and to be for signs, seasons, days, and years. So up above the earth, there's a place. It's real, and you can look up at it at nighttime, or you can look up at the day. You're not going to see it, but it's there. Above the earth, above the flat earth that we all live on and experience, the stationary ground that never moves, never rotates. If you think it rotates, you're in error. You're grossly ignoring your surroundings. Don't live in a hypothetical world. Live in the one that you live in that's not moving, and it'll change your outlook on many things. So the sky above us, during the day, it's lit up by the sun. And maybe something having to do with the light that God created right off the bat. But when the sun goes too far away, it gets dark. Then sometimes the moon will help light it up at night. The stars help it light up at night a little bit. But basically, nighttime is dark. And what we can see up in the sky, the place where they are sending their rockets, that's a celestial place, an incorruptible place. And to put things in that place, in that darkness, is an abomination. Anything up there is an abomination to God, because that's his domain. That's his secret place. It says in Psalm 18 verse 9, I think, he made darkness his secret place. That's verse 11. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. And we all know that there's a place in the Bible, a place of darkness, where the angels are the fallen angels. They're bound under chains of darkness. And we also know that when God made the firmament, he divided the waters from the waters. He divided the waters above from the waters beneath. Whoa, that school bus was booking. That was weird. Anyway, he divided the waters. He separated the waters from the waters above, which are those dark waters. But those waters are also below. But he separated them and divided the day from the night and the light from the darkness. This is part of creation. I guess I'd call it a physical part, but maybe it's not so much physical. But we observe it and we experience nighttime and daytime. The creation story in the Bible is more accurate than any other description. It just is. So that's the hidden part of creation. It's darkness. The dark abyss that's above the earth. See, when they say Sheol is beneath the earth, that's because it's said, in the heart of the earth. Well, of course it's below the earth in those waters. And it is also above those earth in those waters. Above the earth in those waters. When God sends fallen angels down to hell, you think he's saying that for you? Is he saying, well, for you it would be down? No, that's not what he's saying. See, when we die, we have a body that we live in, a flesh and bone, blood body that we live in. It's physical, material. When we cut it, it bleeds and it hurts. We have pain. We all understand this body that we're all living in. We each have our own. And when we die, we all, probably everyone here has been to a funeral, had someone in their life that they know pass away, and had to think about all of that. Had to think about, what happens when someone dies? What do we do? What do we do with them? Well, we know that their body's gonna decay, and we know that because life isn't in them anymore, that they are not embodied by you anymore, or the person anymore, and so they're going to decay and corrupt and become basically like sand again. So we bury them in the ground and let them rest there, right? But in the scriptures, from the moment of death, there's a separation, and the body goes into the ground, into a grave, and the spirit of the person goes to another place. And that place is not physical, because it's a spiritual place. Some people call it Sheol. Some people are, Abraham's bosom. There's like a tormenting place for people who didn't acknowledge God, and there's a place of rest for people who were righteous, and that everyone goes to that place. Their spirit goes to that place when they pass away. Goes to one of those places and awaits judgment, awaits the final day, the last day. And that's just how I understand that. And I think it's important for people to realize that Flat Earth came into our world for a reason, and a lot of people, for whatever reason, don't have the means to comprehend all of it. And they cut it short and stick to the ideas that they had before it came, such as hell's in the heart of the earth only. Sheol's underneath us, in the earth. There's a fire blazing in the earth, and that's where everybody goes when they die. Forget about that idea, the idea that the world gave you, and examine the scriptures. Because in the scriptures, there's plenty of places where prophets were taken up into the firmament, and they saw Satan's angels fighting. They saw power of evil that, what did it say, that draws down to itself the hearts of men. This is our adversary. And so when there's a place of darkness above the earth that a lot of these flat earthers are actually saying is fake, they have a big surprise coming. So do all the space fan people. The space people also have a big surprise coming. The scriptures are true, and the prophets are right, and nobody wants to listen to him. Oh well, have a wonderful day, and don't forget about that place of darkness. It's above us, and it's a veil that's been hiding God. It's been hiding God from us.